All right, hello and welcome to another SecretEntourage.com video. Today we have the pleasure of talking with Tom Cruise of Apto Hosting, famous Apto Hosting, if I may add. Welcome, Tom. Good to have you on our show today.
Thank you for having me.
So, I think me and you have kind of talked for a while on Facebook and known each other, and I think the world knows you as the hosting guy. I think Apto Hosting is kind of is fairly large. I'd say probably like right behind GoDaddy. Am I accurate?
Yeah, right behind GoDaddy.
Okay, very cool. So tell me a little bit about how you got started.
I got started with you're talking about the hosting company or just in business in general?
Well, how did you get to the place where now you own a hosting company? Like before the Apto Hosting existed, what led you to becoming or wanting to get into this field of work?
Well, before I had always been into e-commerce. I started in high school when I had my paintball company. I sold paintball guns online. And I always had a lot of issues with servers and hosting with the website. I forgot who we were with back then, but there's a lot of problems. So when I sold my paintball company, I decided that I was going to get into hosting. And I had a friend that did reseller hosting, and he was all into that and making a lot of money back in 2003, 2004, with simply hosting people and just getting that passive income. So that's kind of where I got my start. He sold me a reseller account. I got a bunch of, friends and family on there, and then it just kind of grew from there. I started buying dedicated servers. I had, co-location at the data centers, and then just started, building on top of that.
So let's talk about the beginning of this. You were doing reselling hosting in a sense, so you didn't own anything other than just sell other people's packages. Is that correct?
Exactly. So what we did was we had my friend who, had a reseller account. He actually directed me to the company that he was using. So I contacted them, set up a reseller account. They own the server, they own the data center, they own everything. They just give us an allocation on a server, and we can just resell that space that we have. And that's how I got started. I mean, I didn't want to put a lot of money into infrastructure or into buying my own servers until I had customers and got some traction.
So during the first year of business, that first entry-level year where you're kind of unsure what's going on and you're just trying things out, what kind of money were you making at the time?
At the time, I think the first year we did $40,000. And the big reason that happened is I did pretty well when I sold the paintball company. So I had a lot to infuse back into marketing, into AdWords. I mean, back then, it was only 8 years ago, but still the clicks were, 30 to 50 cents versus today you're paying $9 for a hosting click, $20 for a hosting click. So it was a lot cheaper. It was a lot easier. I was on every forum, Web Hosting Talk. I was on, all the major, forums, directories. Email was big. We still try to build a little email list and get, repeat customers and referrals. The initial affiliate program was what we got started.
So it seems like it's no different than owning a website, right? Owning a hosting company was no different than marketing a website, a new site, or a new business, in essence, online.
No, it was really similar. I used a lot of the same tricks that I did with my paintball website. From pay-per-click all the way to media buying, I used the same knowledge that I had from there to transfer it over. Obviously, hosting even back then was still super competitive. So, you had to get way more creative as far as marketing it, but it was essentially the same.
Talk to me about maybe one or two marketing strategies you used then that kind of set you apart. Because, like you said, it's a very competitive market. There's a lot of different people doing it. So why was it that you kind of took that edge? I'm sure other people were marketing too.
Yeah, I just tried really a lot of different stuff. So I knew that I wasn't going to compete with GoDaddy and Yahoo. I didn't want to be in that $2 a month hosting space and put, 1,000 people on my server. So I was going for the more value-added client, the clients locally. There's no real established hosting company in Wilmington or Raleigh where my parents live and where I go a lot. So I started there. I found a company that would do flyer distribution to all the small businesses. And I paid them, I think it was a couple $100. They sent out 1,000 flyers, and I just kind of positioned myself as the guy that could help them not only with their website, but hosting it and supporting it, and just try to become like a one-stop shop for websites. And that was the main thing that I did when I get started was grow locally, get established, make sure I knew how to run servers, customer support, ticket systems, make sure everything was done and ready before I really took off, regionally or nationally.
Okay, very cool. So today the hosting world's changed a lot, right? Like
Yeah.
it's totally different. Like you said, just the pay-per-click being like so much more expensive than it was then. What can you tell me about how your business evolved from its first year to today? Like what were some of the key areas that enabled you to kind of go from just another hosting company to this major Apto hosting you currently are today?
The big thing was we got away from just hosting. I mean, everybody and their brother was doing hosting. I mean, you can go get a GoDaddy reseller account for $5 now and you can resell to your friends. So we started expanding into whatever our customers, we listened to our customers. So they said, hey, we have hosting, but our website sucks and we're not getting any traffic. So the next kind of evolution to that was, okay, now we're doing web design and development for our customers and we host them. And then we had people saying, hey, we're having issues with GoDaddy domains or Yahoo domains or, Name Solution. Do you guys do you register domains? So we set up, a registrar with, Enom. So now we're doing domains, hosting, and web design and development. And then people were saying, hey, we love our website. The hosting is really good. We have a really good uptime. Do you do any online marketing or social media? Social media came into the picture. And then, we hired 2 social media and SEO guys, and then we just started, going into that niche. Now we're offering all into one, which is really good because it helps our retention. I mean, if you have your design, your hosting, your development, your social media, your pay-per-click with us, the retention rate is really high. So that's the position that we took, and that's kind of where we're trying to corner that market locally. So we still go after the local market. I mean, even with the competition, but it's a lot easier to close someone you can go talk face to face with.
So how many employees do you have currently now that you're offering all these solutions? You can't be doing most of this by yourself. You gotta have a lot of people.
No. Right now we have 9. Most of them are just, 1099 contract employees or, contractors that help me out. I still do the day-to-day billing, customer service. I do some of the sales. We have designers, developers. We have 2 full-time writers for SEO. And we have someone that just does social media, Facebook, Twitter updates. We're about to expand into doing some video production also, with YouTube. So we're going to farm that out to a local company that does that, but we're getting a lot of requests for that.
So Apto Hosting really evolved more than just being a hosting company. It is like an all-in-one marketing / e-commerce solution in a sense.
Right, and that's what we were going for. Because I mean, right now we have customers that before they came to us, they were paying a web designer, $1,000 a month. They were paying a social media company $500 a month, an SEO company $500 a month. So we just figured, since we all do it all in-house anyways, why not just create, packages that would allow them to do it all with us. And it works out for them because they get a much better deal. They can keep, accountabilities just with us. They don't have to go through all these different, people to get their website updated or done. So, that's really where we try to focus on.
So through the years as a business or as a business owner / entrepreneur, you yourself have had to evolve, right? Just like your business has. So what were some of the key learnings you've had through the years that you can share with people today that maybe they don't have to go to the trial and errors in a sense if they're in a similar situation?
The big thing that I guess evolved from was organization. Before then I was kind of all over the place. When I got started, and when I started seeing how complicated and how much stuff, you have to be doing day to day, I learned to be more organized and also to delegate. That's probably the single most biggest piece of advice. If you try to do it all yourself, you can only do that to a certain point before you start losing customers, before people start getting pissed off. So the big thing that I had to do personally was be less of a control freak. I would, have a really hard time delegating sales to somebody because that's new clients is, the lifeblood of any business. So when I said, our sales guy's name is Mark, I was like, look, Mark, I'm trusting you to do this. Don't screw it up. And then, just a matter of managing it, making sure the expectations are being met. But letting go is probably the biggest thing that I learned to do is making sure that take myself out of the equation and stop being the bottleneck. Is what I would give.
I love that because that's just, I think something a lot of people struggle with, right? Like we love our businesses so much, we don't want to let them go. Like we don't want to let someone else possibly ruin what we've worked so hard to build. So
Or give the
how do you do that? Like, give us some tips about how do you put yourself in that mindset, or how do you allow yourself to get to that place where you allow others to come in? How do you select people? Maybe that's a better question.
To begin, the first